Coach Teresa Ford here, and this is the Guiding You Home podcast. This is a thought-provoking and often humorous approach to moving you closer to the only one who can genuinely help you live a life of abundance and prosperity. Sound good? Yeah, it's you that needs to go within so you can sit in the driver's seat of your life, co-creating with God. So make room for more light and knowledge. As you continue to listen, you will discover elements of how to lead with your inner light, how to act on your specific promptings, and how to follow your spiritual intuition so you can fulfill the measure of your creation. Thanks for being here, and let's dive in. Howdy, we're back. All right, so let's talk a little bit, since we are always talking about building confidence to go within. So that means also that we're shutting out the noise. We're dismissing everybody else's opinion because yours is the only one that matters. So today we're talking about what rules you are willing to break. Oh, rule breaking. Is that a thing? Can we do that? Can we just like break all the rules and set ourselves free? We were taught from day one not to break the rules. Do whatever mommy and daddy needed you to do, mostly because they were trying to keep us safe. But if you had emotionally unavailable parents like me, they were also sharing about their fears. They were just projecting their own sense of insecurities onto us kids. So if that happened to you, join the club. Because we're not going to dwell on that, but we are definitely going to go in deeper and decide what rules can we break. And what the rules I'm talking about are when mom and dad says, don't you cry because you got nothing to cry about, even though we did, because we were children and we had emotions and they were turned off to their emotions, but we weren't. And so we cried, and they're like, I'm not having any of this crying, because their emotional system, their nervous system couldn't handle the crying. And so you were taught, don't cry. Guess what? Let's break the rules. You can cry. You can do anything you want on the emotional level, barring murder. Like, let's not get crazy. But you can do anything you want to finally express yourself. You can break all the rules. Get weird. Who cares? But until you do, you're a prisoner. If you don't break the rules, those rules that maybe somebody taught you or that you developed yourself, I don't have a right to say anything because I don't know enough. I haven't had all the experiences. I'm not as smart as somebody else. No. Suffering by comparison is one of the ways that we stay small. And small does not play by your rules. I had a good friend ask me, she's just starting the dating process, what are the rules again about dating nowadays? I'm like, you're the rule maker. You get to decide. You're like, sorry, if I invited you out on a date, I'll pay. If you invite me out on a date, you pay. That's the rule I play by. Everyone has clarity, and there's no rules about, well, I don't want to seem like a burden. So they paid like 8 times. And now I feel obligated. It's like, no. Huh? No, if you know what your rules are that work for you, you can break all the other ones that you used to know. So I just want you to be very aware of the rules that either you're still playing by because it would still please mom and dad if you were X, Y, and Z. Like my mom, her nervous system couldn't handle children at her age. Like she was old enough to be my grandmother. And so if we made any noise, she lost her stuff. She just got, big and scary to get us to be quiet. So back then, her favorite thing was us being invisible. And so I spent a lot of years just being invisible, like home, church, grocery store. I just lived in this little confined place and called it home. God's like, no, no, that is not where you're meant to play. And so what happened? My husband lost his job. '08 hit. He couldn't get a job. We were almost homeless. Somebody had to get a job. It was me. It was me. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't had a job in 15 years. What am I like? I had to fake a resume. I was like, let's see, I worked at Wendy's when I was 15. I was like, totally faked it, had to go out, a little bit mad at God. We had a little negotiation, but you know what? I landed in a profession that suited me so well in fitness because I just love to run and play with people. Like, if we're not having fun, what the heck are we doing? If we're sitting at a machine counting reps, I'm like, no, thank you. If you're walking on the treadmill for forever, no, thank you. So I really, God was like, but you're not born to be small and you're not born to be invisible. And even after I had a career and I was like, woo, loving it and living loud and proud and feeling pretty good about it. Um, I went through a whole other phase where I was like, I don't have a right to say anything. And that was a healing journey where I was going deep, deep into my healing wounds. And I was like, I know nothing. Wasn't true, wasn't true. But in that healing journey, I realized the healing journey itself was me becoming invisible because it would still please my mother, even though she had passed. So if we're not trying to, you know, be the person that would help our parents be happier, then what are we doing? Are we fighting our own rules? Have we decided that we can't wear certain clothes or we can't speak about a certain subject or that we can't just be so liberated and free that we can tap into our true nature and stop trying to be what everyone else needs us to be? That's when everything changes. I'm just telling you, that's when it all changes. When you stop caring more about what other people think, you start caring more about what you think and about your relationship with God so you can see yourself through God's eyes, which, by the way, He loves you unconditionally, which is not something that we offer ourselves freely, but we could. Just saying. That alone is one of the rules that I don't deserve all the love. I don't deserve all the abundance. I don't deserve the forgiveness. I don't deserve the credit. I don't deserve. Wait, what? Not true. Not true. You do deserve everything. God's like, here's an ocean. And you're like, I got a teaspoon. You're just like, what? Like, showing up with your little tiny minuscule teaspoon because you've made up a rule. You don't deserve more than that. Not true. Anything that makes you feel small and diminished is a rule you're trying to live by that is not true. You got to break those rules. It's like, so you mean that I can show up like a bucket that puts out fires that the planes carry, a fire retardant bucket? You can show up in the ocean and dip into the ocean and fly away and dump it all over your life and then come back for seconds. Yes, yes, that's what that's saying. That's what we're saying. You can have anything you want, but you got to break the rules that keep you from having it. Is there another way to say this? I don't think so. I think you just need to go in and evaluate. Okay, this is how you find it out. This is how you figure it out. This is what I would like to be different in my life. I want you to make a list that holds the essence of what you would like to have different in your life. That list is going to tell you more about what's stopping you from those things. You make the list and then you're like, ooh, and the opposite of not having this thing is having this thing. Like the opposite of not doing this is doing it. The opposite of not being this thing is being it. And so if you are connecting the dots, you have to figure out what's in the middle. What is the roadblock that's right between not having it and having it? Here's the caveat. Are you ready? You may not like this. Everybody wants things to be different, but not everybody wants to change. So that's why this is like a micro step, breaking the rules. Identify the rule that's keeping you from not having what you want to having it. Let me give you an example. So I just assumed, when I learned about codependency, I just assumed that I was codependent. That was a rule I made up. And what went along with that rule is you also have to figure out how to survive it, how to get along with it, how to be not as codependent. It was codependent recovery, meaning you're always going to be an addict, to caring more about what other people's problems are than they do, like trying to do for them so they don't have to do for themselves, like enabling the behavior. It's like, oh my gosh, it felt so yucky. And false beliefs always do. False beliefs always feel yucky. Just make a note of that. Because you know what? If you're feeling good, you're on the right track. If you're feeling yucky, we have some work to do. There's a rule there that's keeping you from going from yucky to awesome. So when I finally, I had the CD in my player in the car driving across the country, crying about how am I ever going to finally figure out how not to be codependent? And then thought occurred to me. Now, this is the inner guidance system. This was God coming through me. I wouldn't have thought of this on my own. So this is how he works. And it said, but what if you're not codependent? I was like, well, what? That would be so cool if I wasn't. And then with that thought came the whole entire meaning of you weren't born codependent. You were taught codependency by a mother who needed you to change so she could be happy. And the way she needed me to change was to disappear. I was like, no way. What? So the implication was maybe you never were codependent. So if you break the rule of thinking like a codependent person would have to think in order to survive it and stay in it and just figure it out, work on it. If you weren't that person, then who would you be? Ooh, I would probably be love and light. I would probably not have a whole lot to work on, and instead I could just be creative, and the flow and the fun and the good stuff could all just be part of my life. So I ask you, if you make that list that holds everything that you wish was different, go in and identify for every line item, and I don't mean just do the first one, do every line item just so you can see. Like, this awareness practice and exercise is so good for you to just go, but if I wanted to go there, what rule am I telling myself? And I will put a caveat in there. Sometimes it's subconscious and it's locked in your body. I would accept my hamstrings are tight. Whoa, okay, go check out your hamstrings. Find a fascial release expert and get your fascia taken care of, because tight hamstrings is trapped energy around a belief system that's not true, that's stuck in your hamstrings. And your hamstrings are like, the answer is right here. And then you go get the hamstrings taken care of, they're released. Suddenly you find yourself moving forward, and what used to be hard isn't stuck anymore. And whether or not you can actually identify what that rule was, I bet you can. I bet you anything you can. But if you can't, just know that your body is giving you the cues so you can get from not having it to having it, not being it to being it, not doing it to doing it. Because there was a rule locked as negative energy in your body. So there's a lot going on here. I know, I understand. It could seem woo-woo to you, but you know what? Sometimes when we go to the doctor to get something diagnosed, let me just tell you this much, that DI is multiple, and ignosed is a lie. Meaning they don't know, so they're just, and this is not the case every time. I'm not saying there's not space for medical support, right? Like, I have had many opportunities to have medical support and so grateful for it. But I am saying when it doesn't really line up, when what they're telling you is like, well, you have arthritis in that one in your finger. It's like, is that finger older than the other finger? Like, what? Not what? If you're like, something's not adding up here, you're right. You're never wrong about that. Just want to say. So when you're breaking the rules, if you can't consciously conjure up, why can't I get to this place? Check with your body. See where the pain points are. See where dysfunction and dis-ease, because the dis is an energy block, because otherwise you would be ease, not dis-ease. Otherwise you would be function, not dysfunction, right? And we're trying to return to homeostasis. We're trying to be functional and at ease. And we do that by asking ourselves a better question. What rules am I playing by that need to be broken in order to set me free? We're a lot of work, aren't we? But that's okay. That's okay, because we do this one step at a time, one day at a time, one thought at a time, one realization at a time, one question at a time. And as we do this, it builds confidence to go within, because the answers are here. They're not out there. They're right here. And you can find them just as easily as anybody else. So listen, Linda. Listen to your body, listen to your thoughts, listen to your emotions, listen to what's going on in your being, because there's rules there that you think are probably the best idea for you, but you're stuck, and stuck has just been a normal for you. I'm stuck in this area, so it's normal. And then you're not looking at it as, oh, it could be possible that that's not normal, and that a new normal is waiting for me out in the ocean of abundance and blessings that I could tap into if I could identify the thing I want to be different, and then figure out what rule am I playing by that disallows that thing that I want to come into my life fully. And maybe you just do this one at a time. But if you can go through the list and name them all, that's even better. But just here's the disclaimer. Don't try and overcome all of it at once. Pick one. Pick one thing that you are like, okay, this is the one thing. It's the low-hanging fruit. It's the thing I can grab hold of fastest. And I'm going to break the rule because I am no longer available to play encumbered, whatever it is. You are not here to play small. Like, we can't live without your gifts and contributions to the world. We can't. We need you. So do this little exercise and let me know in the comments, or you can email me, of course, and let me know what you discovered, because finding you is your roadmap to happiness and guiding you home to where the answers to the test lie builds confidence. Okay, thank you, my friend. I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. I invite you to leave your feedback and share your aha moments as you listen to this podcast. Also, you can access more information or any of the programs, courses, or worksheets that I've mentioned on these episodes on my website at teresaford.life. Or what I would really love is for you to connect with me on Instagram at teresaford.coaching and on Facebook at Coaching with Teresa Ford, so I can give you more interesting insights and further coaching to help you fulfill the measure of your creation.